actually feels like summer's almost over in terms of the temperature and stuff like that anyways. And with that in mind, what was going on today? I thought this was really interesting actually in terms of drone delivery. It seems like, I guess, a different way of doing it. How about this one? This one says, Ford's ambitious new patent may be game changer for drone delivery. It's kind of interesting as they have this diagram as well. It says it's been more than a century since Ford Motor Co. pioneered the assembly line, but the automaker still has a few more tricks up its sleeves. And we're not talking about electric vehicles or self-driving cars. While those are emerging technologies, Ford has something even more ambitious in mind. The company last week published a patent that outlines a system for decentralized hybrid air-ground autonomous last-mile goods delivery. That's a mouthful, but essentially Ford wants to use its delivery vans to directly launch and control unmanned aerial vehicles or drones. There's a lot going on in the above diagram, but the system boils down to a variation on the hub and spoke model. Used frequently in logistics and transportation, it typically involves a warehouse or fulfillment center, which is the hub, using a fleet of delivery vehicles to fulfill orders. In Ford's system, the delivery vehicle becomes the hub, while the drones serve as spokes. Drones would be docked and launched from on top of the vehicle, which then pilots the aircraft to their drop-off location. Then, the drones will communicate with the nearby Ford vehicles to find the closest place to dock. And so with their example here, it says a delivery vehicle needs to make 10 deliveries within a neighborhood. Rather than driving to each residence and dropping the package on the customer's doorstep, the driver could stay in one place and instead instruct the vehicle to launch a fleet of drones. That way, they would be able to make multiple deliveries at once. Ford's patent actually resembles one published by Amazon about a year ago. In Amazon's model, delivery vans would instead release a fleet of small ground-based drones. From there, the van would direct the drones where and what to deliver, similar to how the delivery vehicle would function in Ford's system. The automaker's model is also similar to a system proposed by Walmart last month. The world's largest retailer apparently is looking to combine drones with autonomous delivery vehicles to add a fail-safe to its last mile. Makes you wonder what would happen if something went wrong. Let's say the delivery driver launched the drone and all that. Do they have to know how to operate the drone per se, like manually, if something messes up? Or what if it crashes? Do they have to go and pick it up? And I read this today, which was an update in regards to the tension between China and the US, because I guess a person in the US visited Taiwan and China said, you better not, otherwise there will be repercussions. A lot of people assume the worst, for example, where they'll actually, shoot down the airplane of the US official that was flying there. But what happened in the end, since the US did visit? I guess this was it here. It says countermeasures. What are they doing? Canceling China-US theater commanders talk, canceling China-US defense policy coordination talks, canceling China-US military maritime consultative agreement meetings, suspending China-US cooperation on the repatriation of illegal immigrants, suspending China-US cooperation on legal assistance in criminal matters, suspending China-US cooperation against transnational crimes, suspending China-US counter-narcotics cooperation, and suspending China-US talks on climate change. So is that a big deal for people in the US? That's kind of interesting in terms of, I guess, things like assistance in criminal matters. So what would that mean? Where if someone, let's just say, committed a crime in the US and they fled to China, would they say, oh, well, we're not going to help you with the investigations and so forth? At the same time, it's a little odd because they say, for example, suspending talks on climate change and all that. I thought I've read news and stuff before saying China benefits a lot in terms of, I guess, they're being depended on by a lot of people to make things like, solar panels and all that. Is that true? Like for climate change? So that's kind of odd in that sense. Wouldn't it hurt them more? At the same time, that doesn't really make sense too, because from what I read all the time, where with issues like these, it's supposed to be everybody is doomed per se. So to say, oh, suspending talks and this and that, isn't that kind of like saying, okay, who cares? You do what you want or whatever. Even if you, quote, I guess, get affected afterwards for what one person does, who cares? You're on your own. Even though, again, it's affecting everyone. That's what they say. So that doesn't make sense either. I wouldn't be surprised if they do a bunch of other stuff afterwards too. I guess it kind of reminds you where with all those stories where they say they wanted to stop, I guess, being reliant on Chinese parts and all that, or various, I guess, electronic equipment as an example. Can you imagine that? Where if they're in a dispute right now and they were 100% dependent on some kind of, I don't know, tech, they just say, oh, we're shutting this down now. Now you have like nothing. And then they'll be begging, no, turn it back on. I guess that's an example where you have to be semi-independent as well when it comes to essential resources. Somebody lost their TransLink card. I guess I'll return it to the station. That's usually where the lost and found is.
Were you picking something up?
No, somebody lost their pass. So
Oh, okay. Okay, thanks so much for talking about what you have. Alright, see you guys later.